Well, that was quite the game tonight. Capitals get the win. Big win for Washington. Crosby out. Last I heard, I hadn't heard any updates. Other than there was a knee issue and a head issue, and they're more worried about the head than the knee, and they should be because it's Sidney Crosby. And Connor Sheary out of the game. Shortens up the bench for Pittsburgh. Will test their depth. Pittsburgh has excellent depth, and I have little doubt that this series still has a lot left. Whenever Crosby's out, Malkin usually raises his game. He's already had a very good playoffs. I was asked on the other inspirational video why I didn't mention Malkin. I didn't mention Malkin because it's expected. It's much like Tarasenko, Forsberg. These guys are expected to be leaders and leading scorers. And the only reason I mentioned Kessel is because he's taken a lot of flack over the years, in between last year's playoff where he almost won the Conn Smythe. You could have made a very persuasive argument that he was the Conn Smythe winner before the finals last year. And this year he's just been fantastic. So, overall, a fantastic postseason we've had so far. As I said, huge win. Absolutely huge win for the Capitals. We'll see if it goes any further. So, it was a big game. Ovechkin had a decent game. A lot of Capitals had decent games. And we'll see how it goes from here. Washington can't afford to lose Game 4 either, especially if Crosby's out. If Crosby's out, Washington needs to keep it going. Here's the problem. And I agree that Niskanen, the hit that happened, Ovechkin committed the hit first. So Ovechkin does this across the back of Crosby. I'm not sure why that's not a penalty, but he did. He swung his stick, with one hand, right across the back of Crosby, which caused Crosby to start to fall. Crosby's starting to fall. Niskanen's coming in. He doesn't change his hands. He doesn't change his position, as both Nick Kypreos and Kelly Rudy said during the first intermission tonight. And he hits Crosby in the head. It was incidental contact. Because it's Crosby, it became a 5-minute in a game. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to start anything or I want people to get upset with me or, that's incendiary. Crosby, as a star of the game, will, and I have argued this before, the NHL should protect its stars better than it does. This shouldn't just be a Crosby thing. This should be stars across the league. So if you're a Leafs fan, I'm including Austin Matthews. If you're a Winnipeg fan, I'm including Patrick Laine. I'm including all of the young stars, the older stars, everybody. If you have a star player who is in a vulnerable position and gets hit, that should be looked at differently. Football does that. Baseball does that. They protect their stars. And it sucks for other players, I agree. But that's your marketing tool, is your star players. People are going to pay to come and see star players. Your season ticket holders, your hardcore fans, they're going to come out no matter what in terms of who's on the ice. But to attract casual fans, especially in the U.S., that name recognition is huge. So that's what the NHL needs to encourage. So I'm just saying, Crosby getting hit, yeah, that's going to cause something to go on. But I don't think Niskanen gets suspended on this one. My issue is this. Right after the Crosby incident, and the fans are already ticked off, Fleury gets run. And he takes a shot to the head within a few minutes after that. And all I could think was, wait a minute. I don't want Washington to have me arguing on their behalf and then take Fleury out with a head injury. Was there head hunting? Yes. It wasn't that play. That play was incidental. Although the Ovechkin slash wasn't. So, I here I go again. I argue Ovechkin's a clean player and then stuff happens. I argue Crosby's a clean player. Stuff happens. Crosby's not a dirty player and then Mathot's fingertip gets hacked off. Ovechkin, nah, he's not a dirty player. And the slash, and I know I'm doing two hands. I know it was one, but I think it was one. but, you know, it knocks Crosby off balance for Niskanen to commit the hit. And at that speed, Niskanen can't adjust. If he adjusted to hit him in the head at that speed, he is the Flash. And should be on television, because there's no way. It's one thing when we're looking at these replays and we look at them, you know, frame by frame by frame. It makes it look different than what it is. A lot of the time, I think when the NHL talks, and I've mentioned this in other videos with dirty hits and stuff like this before, the NHL needs to spend more time, I think, with the full speed hit rather than the frame by frame by frame. Because the frame by frame, it's way easier to make a hit look worse than what it is. Or cleaner than what it is. Look at it at full speed. Think about it from the point of view of the guy delivering hit, the guy taking the hit, the play that's going on, where the puck was. Take a look at that. The frame by frame stuff, the initial point of contact, look full speed. And then go to frame by frame if you need to. But it was a rough play, and we'll see if that extends the series. Washington wins the game in overtime. Huge win. Huge win. I have 30 years of memories of the Capitals blowing it in overtime against the Capitals. Or against the Capitals blowing it in overtime against the Penguins. So it was nice to see it go the Capitals' way, and yet I didn't really cheer it because until Pittsburgh's actually mathematically out, I never count them out. That's why even when Washington was up 2-0 tonight, I'm like, nah, this isn't over. Pittsburgh pulls their goalie, and I'm like, nah, this isn't over. They score to make it 2-1. I'm like, it's less than 2 minutes left. This isn't over. And then overtime. So, this is a great series. I'm glad Washington got a win. I don't like that Crosby got hurt and that there's this dark pall over the game. And hopefully the next game is clean and we don't have any of these kinds of incidents. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And hey, tomorrow night, let me just take a look and see which games are on. I know there's guys talking to the screen right now. I can't hear you. This is taped. Tomorrow night's games, and there are 2 of them. Ottawa in New York against the Rangers for Game 3, and St. Louis in Nashville for Game 4. So you give me the winner, that's 1 point. You give me how many goals they win by, that's 2 points. And if you predict overtime and you're right, that's 2 more points. But if you predict overtime and you're wrong, you only get the 1 point for predicting the winner. So remember, the responses to my comment on this video are the ones that count. And good luck to everybody. This has been a fantastic playoffs. I can't say it enough. If you're not watching every series, I think you're crazy, because every series has its own unique, wonderful aspect to it. And Washington and Pittsburgh showed again tonight that the hatred is real, the rivalry is real, and Pittsburgh owns the history, but it's just that's the way the bounces always seem to go. And maybe tonight they turned a little bit. Hopefully Crosby's back and healthy, so if Washington wins the series, we can't just look and go, well, it's because they knocked Crosby out, which is what would happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.